Hello, hello. Welcome to today's episode. Where are you, my high performers, my healthcare workers, my top leading people in the medical world, the bosses, the workers, the supervisors, the medical staff, the everyone who is a high performer? Where are you at today? This is for you. Yes, I'm going to finish my coffee. Actually, I'm going to take a sip. I was sitting here this morning and I am enjoying having a free morning of doing pretty much next to nothing, even though I have done some things. But let me take a sip and then we are going to dive in. So, where are you, my high performers? I am speaking to you. This is a beautiful message for you today. It's going to put you in a rhythmic, energetic state. Your rhythm is going to return. Your song is going to return. Your dance is going to return. You are going to find you again. And guess what? You didn't leave yourself way too far back in on the freeway, if you will. But today you are going to find you again underneath this messaging of mayhem and chaos and busyness and putting you first. Yes. So grab your coffee, grab your favorite drink, grab your bubbly. We're going to talk about today is Monday. We're talking about how and why. We're talking about the what and the why of creating boundaries so that you can energetically keep up, so that you stay top notch to keep going, so that you don't burn out, so you don't fizzle out. By the way, if you are in a management position, a leadership position, whether you are a supervisor or a lead for your department, this is for you today. And whether or not, and even if you don't have a title, but you lead, you are going to want to hear this. This is for those high performers that are looking for a way to have permission to just stop the madness of running yourself on into the ground, of running on fumes, of staying frazzled and burnt out, so much so that we can't even function even on days off where we're bound to a couch and we don't even want to go outside. I've been there. I get it. But sunshine? Oh my gosh, it is not going to give you cancer. You can do your own research. I'm telling you, there are more benefits to sunshine than meets what we've been told and taught, right? So, drink, raise your glass, let's dive in. Good morning, cheers. It is morning time where I'm at. So, I woke up a little late this morning, and that's okay because my job, I currently work at a hospital for a large corporation, and my job allows me to be at my job at 2:30 p.m. So something that I love is I just love the slow mornings. I love having extra time to just be, to just do stuff. I love watching the sunlight come through my windows, literally speaking, not just with the fuel and nutrition that I'm putting in my body. You know, when I said coffee, for example, I will not touch Starbucks coffee ever again. I just won't. It's toxic. It has crap in it. Makes people feel like crap. It made me feel like crap. It didn't last. So I found myself spending like $250 a month, if that, on sugary crap, junk, stuff that didn't sustain me, the Starbucks stuff. It wasn't sustainable, but I found a coffee. It's the Bulletproof brand. You can find it on Amazon, and you can get the Bulletproof creamer, and they test it for toxins, for mold, so you're not putting that crap in your body. Guess what? 1 cup is sufficient. And it gets me through my day. I do look forward to the afternoon, though, because then what I put in my body, because I have a me first motto, that what I put in my cup is essential because it's going to help me stay sustained and focused and fueled. It's called energy. It provides nutrients to my brain that keep me energized, focused, clarity. I'm not running on fumes. It's not a crash and burn. It's not a stay frazzled. No, it helps me to stay alert so that I can make decisions fast. When you work in the medical field, you have to work fast. There's no way around it. You have to. You got to think quick. You got to think fast on your feet, especially if you work in an ER, especially if you work in a hospital, because at any given moment, a code's going to be called. There's going to be an emergency. You know, stuff happens. And it can happen in a medical office. It can happen in whether you work in the home care field, you go into people's homes, personal care aid, whatever you do for healthcare, high performers. If you are not doing anything to keep you sustained to stay top notch, I guarantee you are going to be frazzled, and frazzled people can't think straight. They can't set boundaries. Frazzled people are in a constant state of doing, and they're over exerted, exhausted. The color in the eyes are gone. The looks on people's faces is just drained, no color. I've seen it. You want to know one of the cool things that happens when people get in my presence? Is their color returns to their faces. I kid you not. Their eyes don't look puffy and swollen anymore because now they're putting themselves first. They're putting sleep first. Yes, sleep, number one tool that is going to help you function. And don't get me started about all of us who brag about, well, I work 80 hours a week. Well, yeah, and how's that working out for you? How's that time you're spending with your family? How's that romance time you're spending with your spouse? Putting you first puts the you back at the top of your schedule, of your to-do list, so that you let go of the busyness and the overdoing, and the boundaries that you set every single day are the key, crucial key. And they're going to help you say no. By the way, when you're alert, when you have that focus and you have that clarity, everything that comes in your direction is also, you're going to be in an unbothered state because you're going to be able to adapt to the stress without letting the stress affect you and wear you down. You're going to be able to think quickly on your feet. So when your boss comes at you and says, hey, I need you to pick up overtime, or can you come in early tomorrow, or can you work on your day off? You're going to be able to happily look at them in the face or on the phone, and you're going to be able to put a nice smile, and you're going to say, no, I'm not available. And you're not going to feel guilty. Imagine that. No guilt. Yeah, well, I have bills to pay and I have kids to take care of. Yeah. And if you can't take care of you, how can you pay your bills and how can you take care of your kids? You just cannot. And don't get me started on the weight loss craze that people have, but yet the choices that we are putting in our bodies, the foods that we are putting in our bodies, do not add to this sustenance. They do not add to the energy. They might give us a short-term fix, but in the long run, we're burning out, we're fizzling out. Even if we work a nighttime job, I watch people and I see how they move. I'm an observant person. It's just how God made me. It's not that I stare at people to come up with things or put people down or tell people that they suck or need to change. No, I observe. And it's just how I've been my whole life. And I watch people. I watch what people do versus what they say. People can talk a good game. People sure can. But when it comes time to making that decision, putting you first, that includes the nourishment. Nourishing your body includes conversations. Nourishing your body includes the things that you read and listen to. And if your faces are in your screens, well, how is that going to help you stay nourished and energized? It's a lot of crap on our phones, right? Social media, news, all that stuff doesn't help us, right? It actually can create more stress and anxiety, which doesn't add to our energy, doesn't allow us to keep giving. It actually keeps us in a state of overgiving, because when we see those headlines about finances, money, wealth, whatever you want to call it, we freak out. Oh my gosh. Or everybody's freaking out. Well, AI is going to take over my job. By the way, I'm going to say something that is going to help you in the long run. When it comes to AI, we got to think bigger and think out of the box. Now, it's not necessarily my lane that I'm just going to sit here and talk to you all day about AI. But here's what I am going to tell you. When you start learning AI, you are way ahead of the game and way ahead of your coworkers. And by the way, I believe that positions will be created for people who have an AI knowledge, because it's going to help in the long run to create systems that flow and create ease and flow for businesses. Imagine a place, just imagine for a second, places that are constantly bombarded by phones. You know, the medical offices. Where's my receptionist at? Medical receptionist, you know the game. You know the drill. Can't answer the phone because you're packed. Only a few of you answer the phones, and medical stuff takes time, right? Just imagine having a system set in place to create ease and flow, because now you're able to be more productive instead of on the phone 50 hours a day, you know? So, because a lot of people, it can also be stressful and exhausting. And that's all I'm going to share about that. You can do your due diligence and do your own research on that. So, that is not my lane, though. That is not my brand. I am about ease and flow. So, I am about learning the things that help with the ease and flow. And that is one thing that is going to help you. And so today is Monday. You know, most people, I don't know the percentage, but I'm going to say 95% of the conversations I hear from people is how much they hate Monday. Monday sucks. I hate Mondays. Oh gosh, it's not Friday. Is it Friday yet? All dang week. Then when Friday comes, people are happy because it's Friday. It's not Monday. Why do people hate Mondays? I did a study on this very recently. I've been actually doing a study on it since probably 2011 when I joined my first network marketing company. Mondays there's two populations that exist. The group that hates Mondays see it as a detrimental day, can't stand it, they hate it, they just complain, they have nothing good to say about it. Then you have a population of people that are actually Monday lovers. They love that they get to reset and restart their week. It's the reset button. It's a way to set the tone and the intentions for how you want your week to go. It can actually be a great day for you to also assess things that are taking up your time, taking your focus. You can also create a list of things to help you stay on track with Monday. Monday's a reset day. Imagine how many places would benefit from having what I call a Monday intention meeting. Instead of talking about the logistics and the politics that have to be talked about, how cool would it be if management leaders started a movement where it would be a Monday intention meeting? All right, guys, today is the first day of the week. We are going to create ease and flow for the week. What intentions do we have? And then let your team bring the intentions and write them down, write them on a board. Okay, out of all these, what are the top things we would like to focus on? What do we want more of this week? What do we need to eliminate that's taking more of our focus and time, that's not creating results? What intentions do we have today to ensure productivity? So instead of creating a task list, imagine how it would be if we created an intention list, so we're not over giving ourselves. So we're not overloading and bombarding ourselves. Now, what I just shared, you can do in your own personal life. Now, imagine if Monday, if your morning that you put yourself first was where you created intentions for your day. It's not a to-do list. If you have an intention to go to the grocery store and you don't make it, it's not going to bother you if you don't make it outside of your house. Why? Because the intention was there, but what if you wanted a day of relaxing and just being? I mean, is that okay too? Or are you going to beat yourself? Oh man, I just didn't go to the store. So as you can see, the things that you create in your own life, the things that you create for your career, it spills over and merges over into your real personal life. Everything that I just talked about, the AI, the systems, the ease and the flow, it's not just focus for one area. It's for every area of your life. And when you start setting boundaries, when you start setting boundaries and intentions to put yourself first above what you have to do every single day, I guarantee you your life is going to change. Because when people start bombarding you and want your time, the people that don't respect your time on the phone, there's many things that can rob our attention, but I'm telling you, those intentions that I shared with you are wise to have for every single day. Because when the intention is there, that's where things shift. Putting yourself first is an intention that will shift every area of your life. And it starts with one thing. Start small. Start with your morning routine. I guarantee you, when your morning routine is top notch, even if your morning routine is shortened, when you decide that you do not rush, you don't, your focus is on you, sipping your coffee, whatever your favorite part of your morning routine is. Maybe it's to meditate, do yoga. Maybe it's to say affirmations, go for a walk. Maybe you go to the gym for your quiet time. That's fine. Reading the Bible, whatever you do for your quiet time, make sure it's an enjoyable time. One of the worst things that we high performers can get into is a rut of a routine. And that routine can also keep us in cages because then we think that that's the routine we have to stay with. Or we're sold a messaging that we suck or we're less than. If we don't follow the routine to an exact science, then we have lost the game. We're not successful. Do you know how long I listened to that messaging? And do you want to know where part of that messaging came from? And this is not a bash, it's my experience. It also came from the church. Said to me that you don't love God unless you're spending 2 hours a day, if that. Minimum was 2 hours a day in quiet time because we put God first. Putting God first means you get yourself into a very strict, rigid, caged routine that robs you of your joy just so you can check off your list that you have put God first. I did that for many years, a few decades actually, and I ended up burning myself out, so much so to the point that I got angry and pissed that my quiet time would take that long. And yes, I do love God. I love putting him first. Yet, don't get me wrong. I don't get it right and perfect every single day. But God we are not expected to sit in rigid routines. Plus, if it robs us of our joy, I mean, think about it. If you are a parent or if you're a friend, right, and somebody comes into your presence, or even like when you're kids, right, especially like teenagers, right, when they come downstairs grumpy and they don't respond to you, hello, do we want them in our presence when they're, grumpy? How about other people? I don't know about you, but I refuse to give my attention to people any longer who are grumpy, rude, drama, no emotional intelligence. They are governed by their emotions. Their emotions lead everything. Can't even have a conversation with them. It's just no thanks. So if we don't like it when that happens in our real life, how would God like it when we go into his, presence with anger and frustration? And it's like, wait a minute, he didn't put that on us. People did. So it's people that can create the rules and the rigidness and all that stuff. And he's saying, I didn't create that. Man did. It's people that create rigid things. And even growing up in foster care, my whole life, I was born to alcohol addicted birth parents. They could not take care of their children. So because of their choices, my sisters and I, we ended up in the foster care system, my twin sister and I, before we were one. By the time we were 1 year old, we lived there in foster care. I lived in foster care my whole life. I also learned as a foster kid that performance was necessary. Rigid routines was crucial. I was given a false security that in order to be successful with things in my life, I had to be busy. I remember even they stuck me in 2 group homes because they said I was troubled. So in the second group home, I remember taking a nap. But when I was awakened by one of the staff people, I started apologizing immensely. I mean, I felt guilty. I felt ashamed for taking a nap. And I was like, where in the heck did that come from? But it was also years of abuse and religious stuff and all the stuff. And it was the belief that I picked up that I'm lazy unless I'm busy, unless I'm going. Even when we were homeschooled, we were forced to do schoolwork while I remember having the stomach flu. And I don't know about you, but doing any type of work when you are blowing chunks is really, even as a kid, like, I'm sorry, but there needs to be a cutoff, okay? So the work will get done, but when you're homeschooled, it's a whole different breed, a whole different, routine, way of doing things. And so one of the best keys that you can pick up for your life is boundaries so that you can put yourself first, so that you don't rob yourself of a peaceful, energizing way of living. And I am a person who is ditching all of that because that has no place in my life anymore. The frazzledness, the chaos, the burnout, the stress, the exhaustion, the frazzled, the inner guilt, that has no room in my life anymore. So when I literally just sit in my pajamas on a couch, even doing a podcast, I'm still being productive. Even if my mornings take longer, and even if all I did was sit and do a podcast and do a load of laundry, I'm still successful. It does, and even if before work all I did was drink coffee and eat nourishing foods and not do anything else, but then get ready when it was time to get ready, I'm still productive. I'm still worthy. I'm still amazing. But I also have less stress. And then I'm happier to be around. I'm a magnet I'm an adder instead of a subtractor. I magnetize instead of terrorize. And there are high performers something I'm going to encourage you today is be aware of your energy before you walk into an environment. It is not anyone else's fault or responsibility for you to be in an energized state or for you it's not up to them to make sure that you have the right energy. And you do that by creating routines for yourself that put you back at the top of your list, that put you first every single day. And then when it becomes a boundary, it will become a practice. Then when it becomes a practice, it's an art. Then when it becomes an art, it becomes a routine. Then when it becomes a routine, it creates flow, ease, and no more guilt. It releases all that stuff. It releases the shame. It releases all the unworthiness. It releases it's a healing practice for me, because growing up as a kid, I didn't get to just be or rest. Constant state of hypervigilance. That is no place, no way for any kid to live. To keep myself safe. The other shoe's gonna drop. Oh no. Keep myself safe. Perform. Be perfect. Busyness. And it robbed me. But with what I'm sharing with you today, it's giving the middle finger to everything that robbed me, and it's actually a form of healing. Me doing this podcast, this episode, is a form of healing, and I know that by me sharing what I'm sharing with you today, it's a form of healing for you, because it's going to start you on a journey that you probably never gave a second thought. But then you're like, who's this chick? I'm not giving you strategies. These are not, here's what I do and it's going to work for you. Create your own checklist. No. I'm sharing with you what I do, and then you get to choose what you want to do your way. Because how I do my routine isn't going to work the same way that you do it. So, and it's okay if your routine isn't filled with busyness. And Mondays will no longer be the most hated day in your life ever again. Thank you so much for listening, and that concludes today's episode.